This is Justin Amazon. On Thursday, July 19th, 2018, we got a bit of a sell-off into in the pre-market, right around the midpoint between these two lines here. And then we start to recover a little bit, and we'll see where the open is. Right in this area, I mean, the only thing we got is this lower wick. This was a quick run up. There's not too much else that's going to hold this up if we can't get above this wick here. So what I'd like to see is this rally up into this line, possibly a little bit higher into the same level that went sideways yesterday. But basically I'm looking at this as yesterday was a triangle and today we're gapping down, possibly taking out the low. And so this was a bearish candle. It'd be a bearish retest. It could retest into this triangle, ideally into this range between basically 1482 and 1485. That $3 range of that triangle, and kind of retest where this broke out. This was where we got back above the 1815. We rallied up, we went sideways, we come back down. We come back to the 1815 price and see what we can do there. It'd be great if we can get up into the 1840s, back into this range, and then sell back down to there. And not to say like it has to, but I mean, this is a very short-term retest. A lot of people are still buying. A lot of people are still buying up here. It's just too late, and also we were looking at in the daily, we had a bearish candle, and the last time this happened after we had a big run up is we had a bearish candle and we had a second bearish candle. So I'm looking for another bearish candle today, bearish today on a short term. So let's get into the day and see how it played out. So we actually got bought up right here. We actually did take out the low at the open, got bought up. So, I'm good with this. I want to see it buy up into the 1840s here. And there you go. It gets up into the 1840s, and that candle doesn't quite get up to the 1815. I'm sorry, the 1841.30 line. Doesn't quite get up into this range. But I mean, we're definitely retesting the lows here. So this could be the candle get in on. If you get in on this one, make sure your stop is up here around 1846. And so that'd be around probably a $6, maybe a $6 risk on that with the shares. And then it looks like we've got a bit of a buying hammer here. I mean, it's a bearish candle, but there's definitely a lot of buying with it being a large lower wick. Get above it a little bit more, and this looks like a little bit of a inside. I'm kind of merging these candles, and it's basically just a stair step for 15 minutes. And now we made a new low, sideways again, another hammer. And it's like, okay, everything wants this to go up, with all these buyings, all the buying going on down here. But we'll really see if it can get back up to this line. Right now, it's not there yet. It's just selling off anytime it gets bought up. So again, we're bearish. I'm bearish. Here's a little bit of a lower low, lower highs. We've got this kind of lower or a downtrend. If you zoom in on like the 1 minute or something, there could be some money made in there. But then these two candles. So this is another hammer, much smaller, and you definitely want to break up bullish from here. This one we have somewhat of a lower low, and the highs. Let's see, what was the high in that one? The highs are off by 10 cents, so that's tweezerish top, and then we start to break down here, and this could be going lower right now. Yep, there it goes lower. Okay, we get a little bit of a retest. That's a nice inverted hammer for retest. You can get in on this candle with a stop up here, or definitely up here. We got the bearish squeeze forming. It's some nice sideways action. Okay, we went a little bit higher, so maybe it's too early to get in bearish here, but you retested all these lows, or not the lows, the opens and closes on these candles through here. You're retested where the wicks were dipping down into. Get some more nice wicks here on the upper side, and more sideways. At this point, this is another sort of another triangle here that now we're retesting that midpoint, that mid-level of right in this area. So I'd be getting in now bearish with a stop probably aggressively here, more conservatively here, and very conservatively up above this line. Looking for it to roll over, and there it goes. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. Still buying, and all of a sudden it gaps down slightly and then starts to go bearish. So now I'm looking for it to come down to this low, maybe pause, maybe bounce again back up to this level, and just, you know, ebb and flow through the pricing here. Oh, wow. So this sold off, pause. It did pause at the lows here and here. Stair step for 15, 20 minutes, and then massive sell-off candle. There's a lot of volume in that candle. Let's see. Where did the volume go? 62,502 shares got sold right there. So if anybody was holding on, thinking, okay, you know, we're staying in this, you know, until we take out this low, you know, pre-market, there's 2,200 shares sold there. You know, that was the point that we got past that. So the 1825 price, maybe somebody was selling. That was where their stop was at, maybe. You know, from where you were in some of the candles on 2 days ago. So on Tuesday, get a bit of a bounce, and it's a little bit of a bounce, retesting that level, and then a quick sell-off. We'll see if we bounce again, because it looks like we're hanging on to some buying right here above this price. You know, we'll see if we get another rally up into 1828, and then we can roll over again possibly. And oh wow, it keeps going up, keeps moving up. Wow. Okay, so it didn't even roll over here with this evening star reversal. It actually came out a little bit higher. Oh, now it's doing that retest of that level that I said I'd want to see here, bounce up to there, and then go down. It's doing it. It went down first. Now it's coming back up. But it does. It's playing out like right into that level. That's interesting. Where it actually broke down these lower wicks. That's a retest. So this is still bearish. We've got sort of connected highs here. If you can see this, you know, lower highs right into here. I mean, this one counted too, but now we got the right kind of timing. So this is just about every 2 hours, you know, so this to here is about 2 hours, then to here is 2 hours. And there it goes. Okay, so now it's going lower. Oh, that's a lot of selling. That's a bearish engulfing. A nice hammer again that should bounce, doesn't, continues sideways, then takes out the low. Just like we got a rally here, now we got a big sell-off here. And sideways again for 20 minutes. And there you go. Almost got it there. Now we're into the 1815. So I'd be out, definitely out here, maybe got out here. You know what, probably out here because it came down twice. And then retest it and get in again here bearish to take this. So we'll take a look at the options and see what that looks like. But I love the idea of shorting it here at this line and getting out. Excuse me, getting out when it's down at this level. And then, let's see, so we got an hour left. We're just sideways at this level. Yeah, totally sideways right at the 1815. I mean, it pulls back a little bit more, but pretty phenomenal move there. So let's take a look over at the puts and see what we could have done, you know, early in the market. So the puts we had looked at yesterday was buying around 5 with a stop at 4 and taking that up to, you know, 5, or maybe was it 550? Maybe 550 by 450, something like that. That could have been done again today, you know, after this wick here that went down to 432. I mean, you could have been buying down at 450, you know, from the where you would have been filled yesterday. It didn't get filled here. It stayed above that, you know. If somebody had an open order to get in at the same price on the put, you know, with the premium loss of the 1800 put, you could have been filled for 5 and stopped down at 4, and that would have worked. You could have rode that up to 9. This was coming up to the same highs of the option that it got up to yesterday. So people who were buying puts here at this price, we're buying them here and we're selling them here yesterday, buying them here, selling them here today. And then probably doing it again on this kind of a pullback. So this is where it got up into that next high. So that was this high here. And this is where I was saying, okay, this is another triangle. We've retested this value anywhere in here, getting in bearish, and then it rolled over. And that was getting in here at 6 with a, 6 with a stop down at 5, and let that go to the next line. Probably getting out. If you had a target further up, I mean, that would have been phenomenal, from 6 up to maybe 16, but it didn't get there. So once it got up here and then you didn't exit, it pulled back. You want to get out here. If you're moving your stop quickly, maybe you got stopped down on the pullback. Or if you didn't get out here, you're definitely getting out at like 13 when it gets back up here. So 6 to 13, that's 7R. And then the stock rallies, which means this comes back down, and it comes all the way back down to 6, and then comes back up, and then it does the 6 to 16, getting into this line. But what's pretty crazy is that at 6 here, that was this price. So you could have bought $6 on the put here, this whole range, $6 on the put, $6 on the put. Every time we rallied, we lost that premium on that put. And it came back to the same price on the put, even though we're still, $3 away from it on the actual stock. Here also, we were at a lower price here, then a little bit higher here, and the same price here, even though this is making lower lows. And then we're still, $15 out of the money here, but this option is just worth, sorry, I clicked the wrong way, but I got back to it. This option is $15 out of the money. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the 1825. This is the 18. That's why it's working so well. This is the 1825 put. I think when I was looking at this earlier, I was looking at the 1800 put. Let me see. My bad. Yeah, okay. So this is what I was thinking. This came down to 1. Went from 1. This is what I was looking at my phone. That's what it was. So it could have bought at 150 here with a stop down at 50 cents, taken that up to 253 at open. Could have gotten in for 150, ran that up to 350, bought at 150 again, run up to 350 or a little bit higher. So I was noticing that on my phone with the 1800 put, but I really like the 1850 even better because we are slightly. So we're out of the money here. We come down to be right about at the money here. We're still out of the money, and then we get into the money. So the premium goes way up. Out of the money, get into the money again. So the premium goes way up. So the 1825 was the right put to play, and you could have mitigated your risk based on the price from yesterday on the put. But it's really good to know that you can actually play another option out of the money with a good volume, and it's possible to have some small moves. But I mean, with a smaller R, you could have almost done with a $50 or $75 R. $100 is easy to, I don't want to say easy to trade, but it's a little easier to manage the risk on when you got a really small account. You obviously got to risk a little bit more than a small 1-2% of your account doing that. Or you work your way up to be able to do it, or you trade later in the week. So a Thursday like this with this kind of trade, I mean, this is phenomenal, where it made a low, moved up, took out the high from the day, this high from yesterday, came back into the same high, pulled back, stayed above this level, rallied up, came back, same level, and then rallied up even higher. That's a great kind of move to see. Because you can just keep buying the dips, buying that S curve here, sell, buy the S curve here, sell, and it's possible you got in here at, let's say 750, 8 on this pullback, thinking it was going to hold up here, and then you got stopped out. But maybe you got in again here for 8 with a stop at 7, and it worked this time. So, just reading the chart, figuring out where the right place is. I'm sure some people were shorting from right here, and then it made this higher high and got stopped out, so this one would have been at 1230. No, let's say this one, 1240. So the 1240, where am I at? 1240. So yeah, somebody buying puts here for, let's call it 725. then 725 by 625, you would have been stopped out here, and then it would have worked. So it happens, but that's all we can do is plan it, plan a level. That's where I would have been looking too, is if we can get anywhere into this range. We rallied here, great, we got into it by the put. Stop a little bit above, or get in as it's rolling over right here, or after it makes that candle. Okay, get in bearish with a stop right here. It looks like it should work. More conservative stop would have been here, but I mean, you just don't know. Don't know which one's going to work, but anyway, that's how this thing traded. Looking at the daily, here's this this doji candle here at an all-time high, just like this one. We got this pullback candle, just like this one. This one had a lot more buying up during the day. It actually bounced off the 5 exponential, so that's what it looks like. Now this one definitely did not. We didn't really have much buying into the close. The low and the close are less than $2 apart. So on this one, the low and the close were 13, a little more than $13 apart. So that's the big difference, is that we had quite a bit more buying on this one than we did this one. Now we still have positive momentum from the squeeze. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 daily candles. We're almost to monthly expiration. If we do something else like this, just kind of hover on that exponential, that's a great place to pause here. It probably will also coincide with this line if this continues up. So let me see. Zoom out. Let me see if I can adjust this. Just dragging it over. I left it where it was yesterday because it wasn't really relevant. I think that's too high. It's like this. I just lost track of where it was. I think it was like that. Let me see if I want to undo and then redo. Oh no, I'm higher. Okay. So I'm trying to keep my eyes on the screen of where I'm lining this up, because it's not letting me copy it right. Oh, I moved the whole thing. Come on. There we go. All right, may have moved it slightly, but you can see if we can go a little more sideways, pull back a little more, or just chop around in this area. We're in this range. We're probably going to interact with the upper end of this channel here. But this being a breakout, a retest, a breakout, and a retest back into that same level, now our trend line is caught up. It's possible it could bounce here. It's been so bullish. It could totally bounce here. And sorry, I'm looking for daily. It could totally bounce in here off of this and then continue up. If it does do that, then it may go sideways a little longer and just chug higher. Sideways, chug higher. It could be a repeat of this sort of move, where it's much lower slope. This was a really high slope. This was an even higher slope. It could just go a little bit higher, just chop along a little bit higher as the momentum wanes, and then it may pull back into the lower end of that channel, something like that. Or just the channel will continue up and it'll move sideways. And then earnings is a few days away, so we'll really have to see, what it's doing right up into earnings. If we'll revisit that next week. So if we're going to move up, down, whichever way it's going to go, and what some key levels are to look for. This is a big one, being that first all-time high, and then this is another good one here where we had some interaction, some pausing, a week ago. So anyway, we'll review that next week when we get into the more the options talk. The other thing I want to point out on the call is that, so obviously you didn't want to be necessarily buying calls today. Yesterday had we were in this range. You could have possibly bought one here looking for that to run up. But the price on the calls, we had drawn this line to show the low, what the low was from 2 days ago, what the low was. We didn't quite get there yesterday. But now that price is where we actually ran up into, or a little bit past it. And, that would have been significant because each of these days we were basically above it, bouncing off of it. We got above it, bounced off of it. Got above it, bounced off of it, like that. Now we were starting above it, pull back, bounce, pull back, bounce. Now we're kind of running up into it from below. So this line is now going to act as resistance, pretty much. Since it didn't get it through and stay through and then pull back like it did on this day. So instead we're retesting from below. So that's telling us to say, okay, maybe don't buy calls right here. Instead, let's go look at the puts and see, okay, what's going to happen. So this, you can see the triangle really well. Let me zoom in on this day. So you can see this, kind of this triangle a little better here, breakdown, sideways, breakdown, retest, double top. You can see all that playing out on this option, and all the while it's bearish. So if you're seeing that in an option, on a bullish option, and it's not working, jump over to the bearish option, and it's a rally, a pullback, a rally, a pullback, a rally, and we haven't really seen a pullback yet. So that's what I got on today. I know where we think we're going to go tomorrow, and also if we end up taking out, say this high, I would anticipate this goes higher for a few more days, and then pulls back into this level. So we shall see. This is, if you made it this far, or if you're just checking into these videos, this is the 100th video. And yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So it's been fun just recording what I'm doing, being able to explain the candles a lot better for myself and any of you who are watching and have watched this long into the video. Let me know by email if this is something you've enjoyed, and definitely hit the subscribe button if you have, and you'll see another video soon. Hope you enjoyed this one. This is Just an AMZN. Thanks.